to you the happy morning once again. To the people who have joined, in between, happy morning to them. What I mean to say, the topic is very interesting topic today. That whatever you will give to life, life will give you back. I repeat, whatever you will give to life, the life will give you back. Some of you may laugh at the statement, some of you may not believe, some of you believe it. I'm giving you a very small example. Example of it is the example is like this. Okay, the example is like this. You might have the experience. You might have the experience of sitting by the seashore. Now, most of you might have visited, nearby ocean, and you are holidaying over there. Yes, nearest beach is, Atulji, namaskar, good morning. So you are with a very good session today, sir. Be there. Thank you so much. Yeah. So you might have a great experience of holidaying nearby the seashore, and you might have experience in sitting by the seashore. So when you sit by the seashore, you might have observed what you throw to the sea, and the sea returns it to you. Is not it? So that happens. Sure, life is also like that. Whatever you will give, will return it to you. So it is, the business lesson is a storytelling way. You have to, catch the point, and at the end of the story, definitely we'll be taking what are the takeaway message of it. We'll be discussing it. So there was a successful, businessman, and aging is a process, and the gentleman, growing old and new, it was a time to transfer the reign to the successor. I mean, to take over the business. So instead of choosing one of his director or his children, he dedicated to do something different. He called all the young executives in the company together. He said, it is a time for me to step down and choose the next CEO. So I have decided to choose one of you. And there is a sparking, happiness spread among these, young executives of the company. The young executives were shocked, but the boss continued. I am going to give each one of you a seed, which germinate to a seedling or turns to a plant. So I am going to give you a seed today, and one very special seed. Yeah, that is a special seed as going to give you. I want you to plant the seed, water it, cure it, care it, and come back here 1 year from today. So with what you have grown from the seed, I have given to. I will then judge the plants that you bring, and the one I choose will be the next seed. So one man, named Jean was there. So that day, and he, like the others, received a set. He went home and excitedly told his wife the story. She helped him to get a pot, poured some soil and compost, and he planted that seed in that pot. Every day as a routine, he would plant it and watch to see if it has grown or not. After about 3 weeks, some of the other executives began to talk about their seeds and the plants. And the plant that were beginning to grow, you know, those young executives were discussing about that. Yeah, thank you, Ramakant, joining over here. Thank you, thank you. Be with us a very good life lesson. I repeat, those who joined later, what you put in the life will give you back. Yeah, okay. You know, just repeating that sentence, after about 3 weeks, some of the other executives and began to talk about the plant and their seeds, and the plant we are, beginning to grow. But Jim kept checking the seed, but nothing ever grew. That was a great, disappointment in the part of Jim. So 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks went by, still nothing. But now others were talking about their plans. But Jim didn't have a plan and it felt like a failure. 6 months went by, still nothing in Jim's pot. No germination of the seed. Jim was absolutely disappointed. With a very sorry tone to describe to his wife, he just knew he had killed his seeds. Maybe over curing, maybe over manuring, maybe something else would happen, but he couldn't be able to germinate the seed. So everyone else had, trees and the tall plants, but he had nothing. So Jim, didn't say anything to his colleagues. But however, he just kept watering, kept curing, kept caring. The seed he had implanted in the, pot and fertilizing the soil. He so wanted the seed to grow. Finally, the year went by, and all the young executives of the company brought their plans to the CEO and for inspection. That was a great day. I mean, executives have come with big plans. There are some round and robust plants are there in the pot. The plot is some of the executive spot is well decorated, is not it? Some of the executives have put their name in the, in the pot. Some of them put some flags to be identified as they have, grown the plant. Rather, it was a, I mean, sibling show, in the exhibition room. So Jim, with a very, sorrowful tone, with a very, dilapidated heart and, broken soul, told his wife that he was not going to take an empty pot. Arey yaar, how can I take the empty pot to the, great show, and all my colleagues might have come with, round and robust siblings, and how can I go over there? But she asked him to be honest, about what happened. See, he told that, both of us have tried, from the day one, we are, curing and caring these, tiny seeds to germinate. And we are honest enough in, pouring water and manuring it for the germination. But Jim felt sick. This also happens in the part of everyone where you put honest effort in your work and the result is not coming, and people disappointed. So that exactly happened with Jim, and Jim felt sick to his stomach, and it was going to be the most embarrassing moment of his life. It was going to be the most embarrassing moment of his life because each of his executive colleagues has come with the plant with a, total, very good plants have germinated. But he knew his wife was right. He took his empty pot, to the boardroom. When Jim arrived, and he was amazed at the variety of plants grown by the other executives, and they were beautiful in all shapes and sizes. Jim put his empty pot on the floor with a very, very deliberate heart. And yes, these seedlings were beautiful in all shapes and sizes. But Jim put his empty pot on the floor, and many of his colleagues laughed, and a few felt sorry for him. Is not it? Few felt sorry. We have come with such a big green plant, it's a well grown plant in 1 year. In 1 year span of time, this gentleman has, Jim has come with a empty pot. The final moment came at the right time. The CEO of the company arrived, and he surveyed the room and greeted his all young executives. It's great, great, great to see you all. Jim just tried to hide in the back because sometimes we all have felt we don't have the preparation in the meetings and other shows. We always occupied the back seat instead of sitting in the front. And those people have well prepared and come with suit, tie, and other things they occupy the front chair, is not it? That always happens to the human nature. So Jim, just tried to hide in the back. My, what great plant, trees, the flowers you have grown, said the CEO. Today, one of you, will be appointed the next CEO of the company. That was the message of the CEO to the young executives who have gathered, growing up those plants. So one of you will take charge today. So all of a sudden, the CEO spotted Jim at the back of the room with his empty pot. He ordered the financial director he ordered his financial director to bring him to the front. Jim was trembling, Jim was quivering, and Jim was terrified. He thought, the CEO knows I am a failure. Maybe he will have me fired. You know? So when Jim got to the front, CEO asked him, what had happened to his seat? Jim told his story. The CEO asked everyone to sit down except Jim. All these young aspirant executives, they were anxious to be, to be declared who will be the CEO. The CEO asked everyone to sit down except Jim. He looked at Jim and then announced to the young executives, behold your next chief executive officer. I repeat, the CEO asked everyone to sit down except Jim. And he looked at Jim and then announced to the young executives, behold your next CEO. His name is Jim. Jim could not believe it. Jim could not even grow his seed. How could he be the new CEO of the other seed? And he has come to empty potted. He could not be able to germinate the seed. And how could he be, the new CEO? Definitely, if in the place you or I will be there, definitely we will complaining that. Then the CEO said, 1 year ago, I gave everyone in this room a seed. I told you to take the seed and plant it and bring it back to me today. But I gave you all the boiled seeds. I gave you all the boiled seeds, Mark. but I gave you all boiled seeds. They were dead. It was not possible for them to grow. So all of you, except Jim, have brought me tree and plants and flowers. All of you, except Jim, have brought me tree, plants, and flowers. So when you found that the seed would not grow, you substituted another seed, for the one I gave it to you. But Jim was the only one with the courage and honesty. I repeat, with the courage and honesty to bring me a pot with my seed in it. Therefore, he is the one who will be the new CEO, Chief Executive Officer. So, my friends, what are the takeaway message from this episode? If you plant honesty, you will reap trust. If you plant goodness, you will reap friends. If you plant humility, you will reap greatness. If you plant, perseverance, you will reap contentment. If you plant consideration, you will reap perspective. If you plant hard work, you will reap success. If you plant forgiveness, you will reap reconciliation. If you plant faith in God, you will reap a harvest. So be careful, you plant now, what you plant now. It will determine what you will reap later. So whatever you give to life, life will give you back. So I'm taking you back to as you have seated in the beach, when you were throwing something to the sea is returning to you. Life is exactly that. So what you give to life, life will give you back. This is the moral of the story. So whatever you are adding in your life, be careful in adding. Be truthful to that. The man who came with an empty pot could be the CEO because of his honesty, because of his truthfulness. So always be honest and truthful. So that is the business lesson today, my dear friends. So thank you so much for attending